Good morning, girls. Can you
Good
hear
morning,
me?
ma'am.
Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, yesterday we finished the marketing information system. Here. We finished the marketing information system in which we studied the various applications. We also covered the flow of information in an information management system or an marketing information system. Then these these are also the components of a marketing information system. Okay, as we have mentioned here, the definition, etc. Okay, so just read through all of this so that you do not forget. Now, today we'll cover the human resource information system. This is the last topic of your third unit, and after that we'll begin with the fourth unit. Okay, so the fourth unit we'll begin organization. Then its goal is to control personnel cost through continuous increase in manpower productivity, resorting to the following techniques. Motivation through leadership and job enrichment. Okay, so firstly we provide them various leadership training so that they can do their jobs better, and they can also motivate other employees to work better. Okay, or maybe their subordinates, maybe their colleagues, it may be anyone. Then grievance handling. Grievance means you can say complaints or problem handling. Okay, so handling of grievances or problems that may be occurring with anybody in the organization, any employee in the organization, are also covered or taken care of by the human resource information system. For example, maybe the water purifier or the water cooler in the working area is not working. Okay, or there's insufficient number of tube lights or fans available where where the employees are working. So all these grievances have to be taken care of, or in case there's some problem with some employee's salary, these are all part of grievances, and these grievances are brought to the knowledge of the human resource management, and it is taken care of. Then structuring the organization. So structuring the organization is also part of human resource management, because the human resources, the number of resource of manpower used in the organization determines the organizational structure. What would be the hierarchical structure, how many board of directors are required, and according to them how many departments do we need, depending on the type of product we are using. Then the number of managers that are required depending on the scale of work, the level of production. Then how many supervisors are required, how many workers would be working under those supervisors, how many will be contractual or daily wages worker. Okay, so structuring the organization means determining at what level how many employees should be employed in order for the organization to work in the proper way. Then promotion and rewards through performance appraisal. So promotion and rewards through performance appraisal means performance appraisal is a part of acknowledging that a person, that an employee or anybody in the organization is working well, or if any employee does an extraordinary job at work, they should be recognized and awarded for their diligence and achievement. Okay, so if there is no appraisal, if there is no acknowledgement of the good work that is being done in the class, for example, if you answer in class when the teacher asks you questions, if the teacher does not appreciate you answering the question, or if you are not recognize that yes, this is the girl who answers the question mostly in the class and is up to date with her homework or home assignments, you will not be motivated to answer in class or to do those assignments, because you will feel it doesn't matter. Okay, so appraisal or recognition or appreciation is very important for improving the performance of all the employees. Okay, when one person is appreciated, others will also be motivated to work in the similar way or better way. Okay, so promotion and rewards have to be given in an organization in order to acknowledge or appreciate the good performance of an employee. So that is also part of human resource management. Then human resource information system comes in here, where maybe the employees have to enter the number of units produced by them every single day. Okay, and for maybe 6 months or for a year, the system recognizes that there is one specific employee who has been producing the best quality units, and is also producing extra number of units every day. Okay, so he or she will be appreciated and will be rewarded for the better performance. Then HRM through training and upgrading the skill. So training, as we said, that training is imparted under the human resource management activities. So training is imparted in order to build their skills, or maybe upgrade their skills, or improve their skills. Okay, then moving on, the information and scope of personnel function have resulted in great complexity in field. There is need to cope with incredible volume of information and maintaining it. There is need to classify, reclassify and cross this information. This can be achieved by computerized personnel system, which enables personnel management to manage more efficiently and effectively and to provide more positive services to the organization. Okay, so basically we are talking about the type of work that is involved in the human resource information system. Okay, so basically here you can see the need to classify, reclassify and cross this information. So classifying the information means dividing it into the various heads that it should be in, and reclassifying means maybe the need of the organization changes and we need to group them in different heads. So that can also be easily done through the information system. Then achieved by computerized personnel system, which enables personnel management and manage more effectively and efficiently. Then input for personnel development. The following documents serve as the input in personnel information system. Personnel also means, this is not personal. Okay, personnel means the employees that are working in the organization, the human resource. So what are the data that should be inputted into the human resource information system? So first is productivity data on the job. As we talked about, as I gave the example of number of units produced by every employee each day. Okay, so in every organization there is a standard that is set, that these are the number of units that should be produced by an every employee each day. Okay, so there are set number of hours that an employee works in the organization, maybe say 6 hours, 8 hours, and within those 8 hours a standard is set. Okay, that yes, comfortably and in good quality, every employee should be able to produce maybe say 10 units in 8 hours. So if any employee exceeds those 10 units, it is appreciated, but the quality should not degrade. Okay, so productivity data on the job is inputted. Then industry data on manpower, skills, qualification, biodata of self and family. So industry data means all data relating to other companies, maybe competitors. What is the workforce that they have employed, how are they working, or what are the services that they are providing their employees, their skills, their qualifications. Okay, then biodata of self and family. So record of employees plus their families is also kept. Some companies, most of the companies nowadays give special services to the employees, like provident fund, medical funds, okay, medical leaves. Some also provide insurance facilities. Okay, then personnel application form. So personnel application form is when a new person joins the organization or has applied to join the organization. So a form has to be filled in order to, like when you took admission in the college, you also filled up a form. Okay, so similarly when you apply for a job, there is, in some companies there are forms that have to be filled, which ask you to fill in all the required information by the company. Then attendance and leave record. So attendance, the number of days that they are coming to work. Leave record, how many days of leave they have availed in the past year or past month, whatever it may be. And then appointment letter, appraisal form. Now appraisal form is a form that is filled by every employee, no matter where he or she is working. Every year every employee has to fill an appraisal form where they have to mention what are the remarkable things that they have done in the past 1 year of working in that organization. Okay, so they try to write whatever achievements they have done in the while working in the organization, what has been their record, what has been the outstanding achievement that they have achieved while working here. Okay, so in the past 1 year, what has been their utmost achievement. So appraisal forms are can be inputted in an HR information system. Then appointment letter. So appointment letter, when a person is selected and is given an appointment, an offer letter is to be issued. Okay, which is a formal invitation to that employee that yes, we have selected you and you fit in the required qualifications and skill set that we require for this post, and you have been selected for the job. And if you accept to come to work with us, you should report on this date at this time here in the office, and the salary, etc., all the specifications of that person's employment are mentioned in that particular letter. Okay, so that is called an appointment letter. Then wage or agreement. So what is the wages, what is the payment that is agreed upon, okay, and according to each appointment letter, and what is the wage that is to be given in this particular month. Okay, every person gets a monthly salary in India except the daily wages persons. So they are given payments daily, as the name suggests. So the wage or the salary may differ depending upon the number of days that person has worked in the organization. Okay, if I was allowed 2 days of leave in 1 month and I've taken 4 days, so they will be counted as leave without pay, where my salary would be deducted for those extra days after 2 days that I have not come to work. Okay, so that record is the biggest amount of data that is maintained in this system, the wages or the salary records. Then records, sources of manpower, university, institutes and companies. So here what we input are the potential people where we can hire, who are the people we can contact when we need experts or to train our manpower. Okay, so these are the records of those companies or those universities or institutes that can help us in building the skill set of our employees. Okay, then moving on, components of personnel information. A computer based, has everybody written their attendance in the chat box? If somebody has not written, please write it. Okay, so a computer based personnel information system is designed to support the operational, managerial and decision making functions of the personnel division in an organization. So here the components may be designed depending on the various departments. Following are the components of the personnel management information system. Establishment records. Establishment relates to the setting up of budgets for appropriate staff level and grades throughout the organization. The system should encompass these budgets, posts and reports on variations between actual staff numbers and the budgeted numbers. So here establishment records are very important, and they comprise of the number of staff that should be appointed. Okay, so these number of staff are mentioned in the project report that is prepared or the project proposal that is prepared before establishment of the organization or at the beginning of the establishment, where we mention the required number of employees that should be appointed in the organization. Obviously, as the firm grows, the number of employees will also grow, but and that is kept adding to this kind of record. So what was the budgeted number and what is the actual number of staff that are working in the organization? Are we understaffed? Are we overstaffed? All this record has to be kept by the establishment records. Okay, then next we come to recruitment records. Details of all vacancies and applicants should be held by the system. These should show the status of each vacancy and of each applicant and should perform as much as possible to the administrative process. This will generally mean that the system should interface with the word processing system. So recruitment records, when was which person recruited, when in what department or in what section are there vacancies that have been created, what are the requirements of that vacancy, of that specific post, then have applications been invited for that vacancy or not, what are the progress of that processing. Everything has to be mentioned here. Then moving on, third component is personnel records. These relate to identification data, current and historical salary and allowance data, and various employee attributes such as grades and key dates. Okay, so all these things are also part of the information system, HR information system. Then pension records, who is given how much pension, how many employees have left the organization in this year, and what is the level of pension that has to be given to them. The system maintains all details of service entitlements of employees, contribution by both the employees and the organization to pension scheme, details of dependents, spouse and children, data required for actuarial purpose to verify the viability of the scheme, and details and entitlements of employees who have become pensioners. Okay, so the detail of dependents and spouse and children are required because a pension earning person also gets other benefits like maybe medical benefits, etc. So only the dependent children get these benefits. If the children are married, they do not get those benefits. Like if any of your parents were working in maybe central government like GCF or any factory, they may be given a CGHS card. Okay, and those services can only be availed by you, by your parents and their children, their immediate children, and their dependents, maybe their parents for some time. Okay, after the children get married, they're not included in that service. So all those details are also kept. Then training records, these include data relating to each employee qualification, skills and experience. The system would also hold details of internal and external training courses and its relevant details. Okay, so training, when was the last training given, which employee has participated in how many training, etc. Next is absence record. The system should allow for the record of various absence types like sick leaves, special leaves, etc. Input of this subsystem should be automatically reflected in the establishment subsystem. Then industrial relation record. The system should hold data to assist management and negotiations and planning for alternative strategies. Much of this would be held for normal administrative purpose. It is the facility to extract the data in meaningful terms, to be able to project forward and to test the impact of applying various rules and scenarios. So here we try to bring about learning from our competitors. Okay, what strategies are they following, what is their future planning, what changes have they made in their working style or their workforce, and what are the changes that we need to bring about. Okay, what are the, maybe a government has created some say new rules regarding employment. So what are the rules and how are we following it? All these things have to be kept in part of the component of HR information system. Then, so lastly, role and importance of various levels of management. Precise data and information are required by managers on all tiers of an organization to make the right decision and drive organizational performance. However, the needs at each level may differ. The information needs differ between the upper and the lower levels of management. The frontline managers would need clear, precise, quantifiable and internal information. In contrast, at the top level, the managers would need mostly external information that is summarized and future oriented. The reason is that the type of decision managers at various levels make can differ. However, MIS plays a very vital role at each level, and sometimes different information systems have to be integrated into one to serve the information needs of the entire organization. Okay, so as we discussed in the earlier topic that the MIS has various is made up of various subsystems, like all the subsystems that we studied, like the production information system, the financial information system, the HR information system, all these are part of one big system, the entire organization. Okay, and because we will not segregate what kind of information we require in order to take a specific decision. Okay, one decision taken in one specific department may need the information from all the other departments at that level. Okay, so depending on the decision that they have to take, the requirement of information differs. Okay, so the information system has to be integrated into one system so that information needs of the organization are served. Okay, now so these are the various levels, like clerical people or operational managers. MIS helps the operational managers level users with transaction processing, management control, operational control, etc. Okay, so these are the things that an operational manager may require. Then junior management, MIS provides operational data and information that the junior level managers can use for efficient operation decision making. It also helps in planning, scheduling and controlling at the various operational levels. Apart from that, it aids in decision analysis at the operational level, and that can be used to bring an out of control situation under control. Okay, so junior management needs basically the operational level data in order to take operational decisions, the various decisions at the working level. Okay, then middle level management, MIS provides the middle management with the data and information required for short term planning, setting targets, as well as for managing the business. Okay, and lastly, top level management requires the MIS for having precise and targeted information that helps it in with goal setting, strategic planning, and other things that the top management are required to do. Okay, so these are the three basic levels, and we saw that all the levels require all the type of data that can be achieved with the record keeping, as we discussed in each of the components or the input data of each department. Okay, so just read through this. So this ends the topic and the third unit. Please read through this topic that we have studied today, and look for anything that you